100 kilowatts going in the wife's car. Because that's what she drives the most. So I figured the Teslamino wouldn't really drive that far. So I'll put her 75 pack into my Teslamino. My 85 pack is fine, but the BMSs are shot on it. The BMSs go out on the 85s a lot. So the battery cells are fine. And then a buddy of mine needs it for a Volkswagen build that he's putting together. So we're doing 3 cars.
Yeah. So
This weekend.
This
weekend.
Wow.
Can you still use the 75 pack on 85 on your car?
You could use the 75 pack on 85. As long as
Can you use a 100 pack on 75?
Yes.
That's what he told me already.
You could do that. You just can't use a 75 pack in a performance. So since my Teslamino is not a performance, it's okay.
Could be.
It could, but I have to upgrade the pack. The 85 I could do a performance, or the 100 I could do a performance. But with the 75, I can't do a performance.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have a current.
14 modules not enough.
Yeah, 14 just not going to cut it.
Let me show you our battery packs.
That's awesome. Welcome back to the Revolt Garage. We got something a little bit different for you guys this time. Not your typical hot rod build that we do back here in the shop, but what we're doing is a big upgrade to one of our vehicles. Most of you guys have seen my Teslamino that I drive quite often. It's one of my dailies besides the Mustang. I came home one day and it wouldn't charge. So basically my car bricked. And what that usually means is it can't go anywhere. It's like a brick sitting on the ground. I found out from a good friend of mine that works on these things that my battery pack was damaged. The BMS, battery management system, completely went out on it. And it's time for a brand new pack. So here we are. My Teslamino currently has a 85 kilowatt pack inside of it, which is known to be a problematic pack with the Tesla Model S. This right here is a 100 kilowatt pack. So what we're going to do is we're going to upgrade the vehicles. Now, I am married. I do have a wife with a car. She also drives a Tesla, and it's sitting right here. Her Tesla is a 75 kilowatt dual motor Tesla. This is what she grabs the kids in, groceries, and I'm eventually going to get this car because she's upgrading to another one. Now, thinking about it, I'm like, okay, I could put the new 100D pack in the Teslamino, or I could put an all-wheel drive car and hop up my wife's vehicle, which I'm eventually going to get and have some fun with. Now, this car's pretty quick. It has a 75 kilowatt pack in it, which kind of downgrades the car because it only has 350 volts in it. So by us putting a 100 kilowatt pack in it, we're going to step that up to 400 volts. So the way Tesla designs their packs is basically it's a one-size-fits-all for each model. So the Model S packs, you could basically swap out from different years. You have to do some software programming, and we have people that do that for us. We could take a 100 pack out and swap it out for whatever, or we're taking a 75 pack out, we're swapping out for 100. So what that means is a 75 pack that's in my wife's car only has 14 modules in it. So it brings your voltage to about 350 at a full charge. This particular pack has all 16 of them in there. So we get longer range and more voltage. More voltage means more power. So we're actually souping up my wife's Tesla. It's gonna be faster, which to me, that's basically all I want. She wants the range, I want the top speed, we both get to win. So we're doing a bit of a shuffle here. So I got 3 battery packs. One of them's coming out of the Teslamino. That's being dismantled. We're putting that in a Volkswagen bus for Buckwired. Will's building that car right now. You can check him out on channel. We'll leave those comments, or we'll leave his link down below in the comment section. So he's getting the recycled Tesla pack out of the Teslamino because he's not using the BMS, which is faulty. The battery pack is just fine. My wife gets the upgrade with the 100 kilowatt pack, and I get her 75 kilowatt pack in the Teslamino. I don't really care about racing that car. We just drive it as a truck. So the 75 kilowatt pack will do just fine. So in one day, we're able to basically swap around 2 Teslas and then get a pack ready and prepped for my buddy's Volkswagen build. Pretty cool stuff. I mean, people say you can't really hot rod electric vehicles. You can. So this car is getting a major upgrade, 50 more volts of power, and 25 more kilowatts of range and extended battery pack. So it's gonna be really fun. We're gonna do some time tests. I know how fast this car accelerates now. We're gonna charge it up fully and go run it down the road and see what it does. But this is super exciting. We're gonna do a time lapse on the inside. We're gonna show you guys how to drop a pack out. It's 1,000 pounds roughly. It sounds like a really big undertaking. We could do this in about 30 minutes. let's check it out. Started. Don't try this at home. We do have a guy that does this, so if you do have a Tesla and you do want to upgrade your battery pack for any reason, this is a 2014. We are putting a 2017 battery inside of it. So yes, you can put newer batteries in older cars and it works. Once again, we'll leave all that information down below for you guys. So if you guys have a Tesla, you want some upgrades, check him out. He'll be able to help you out. All right, next piece. So I'm pulling the center bolts out. And what that does is it lets us, that one's being difficult. So what that does is disconnects the center of the battery pack away from the chassis. And then what I'm gonna do is we're gonna put a cradle up underneath this car, a jack to hold up the entire battery pack, and then we're gonna go ahead and remove the final bolts on the outside perimeter, and then that will drop the battery pack out of the car. Center ones are okay to pull out. The side ones you have to leave in until you have something supporting the battery, or else it'll fall on your head. Once again, don't try this at home. Professional use only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 12 of those. And the reason I count them is because if you leave a bolt in on accident when you're trying to pull a pack out, once again, this is 1,000 pounds. You're not gonna know. It's just gonna tweak that bolt and snap it right off. So I count everything to make sure it's done correctly. Now for the outside bolts. Believe it or not, I'm actually having more fun doing this than our day-to-day stuff because it's just different. Like we swapped 2 Teslas today. So this pack is going into a VW bus build that our buddy Will from Buckwired is putting together. When we get these batteries and we pull them out of these modules, Tesla has their proprietary battery management system that lives on a little tiny motherboard, or a card I should say, that lives on the battery cells itself. There's 16 of them in this pack, 14 in the smaller packs. And what that does is it monitors every cell or every cluster of 6 cells, or 6 in series, and just basically monitors the entire battery pack for each module. When we pull these out, we don't use those, we throw those away, and basically we use our own BMSs, either AEMs, or you use like a lithium or any other big BMS system. So we don't use the BMSs. So even though the BMS in this car is bad, the batteries and cells are still good. So they'll see probably another 10-15 years out of someone else's build. Getting the battery out of the car is pretty easy. It took us about 10 minutes, 15 tops to get this thing out. Getting the battery pack open is a real pain in the you-know-what. We've done it. We basically destroy the pack trying to get it out. I know people have taken the lids off without screwing them up. I could go get a new battery pack and resell or reuse this one like we're going to reuse it on a different build and be absolutely happy. So don't try to fix them. I'm going to blow it off real quick and clean it. Let's see. Here we go. I need me some simple green. So this is a new style contactor, right?
Yeah. No,
So-
it's like penthouse, new cover, and it's a little bit different design inside.
Yep, but they're interchangeable between cars. So this is
much easier to repair, but normally don't need to repair. It's good.
this is a good battery
That one
pack.
it's hard to repair. and need to repair.
Well, like anything else, they get better and better in time. All right, all the contacts are clean. Thank you, Simple Green.
That really did make it look a lot better. Just a
Well, you don't
little-
want dirt and grime in
Yeah, a little simple wipe.
We got the packs out of the car. We did the swap. Now it's time to break down this P85 pack, which is going to go in a bus.
Yep.
Right?
1968 Type 2 VW bus. It's going to be running a small drive unit.
And today's episode is sponsored by Buckwired. Well, Buckwired!
It was between wiring by Buck and Buckwired. I just felt like Buckwired rolled off the tongue better.
I like Buckwired. All about wiring harnesses.
Yeah, wiring harnesses, 12 volt or high voltage, custom wiring harnesses, conversions.
Electronic
everything.
plumbing.
Yeah. Buckwired Instagram and YouTube. All right, salesman pitch done.
That means you're buying lunch for everybody.
I forgot my wallet.
All jokes aside, this is not something that we recommend, and we are not in any way, shape, form, or fashion showing you a tutorial on how to do this. This is what we do here. These are trained professionals, and once again, we do not recommend you do this at home in your garage. And if by some chance you do that, make sure you have somebody watching you.
Well, for viewing purposes, we're not going to be showing every single step. So there might be we're going to try to show all the important steps, but there may be one that you're missing that makes it unsafe. So I would leave this to people who have done it before. Like
Ladies
these guys.
and gentlemen, do not try this at home. You're going to end up like the wet bandits. And
Yes.
this will kill you if you mess up. This is
And
very
it will hurt the whole time you're dying.
You don't know who the wet bandits
Are you kidding me right
I thought
now?
that was a video of
Dude, you are
some
not that
dodgy
foreign.
website.
Come on!
You are not that foreign, dude.
Get
Wow. You know what? He's no longer the wheeling Welshman. He's just a Welshman.
He's the willing Welshman. He's willing to watch the video, right? The movie. All right, let's break this thing down.
All right,
Get it open.
let's get started.
All right.
So, we got to drain the pack, because if you try and take the batteries out, before you do, you'll flood the whole thing. So there's a dry brake on these. So we jam a drywall screw in there, because we've got no intention of reusing the dry brake. So it'll hold it open for us, and we can just blow air through the lines and push all the coolant out. You mind holding that? Thank you. You gotta go really low pressure to start with, otherwise
Otherwise, I'm going to be wearing this coolant.
or it'll fill the pack up. You can blow a hose off and fill the pack up.
Oh, I see the vapor coming off of it.
Stinks.
Yeah. This, you got to be careful with this stuff. This is the only chemical that I've like breathed in that actually made me feel nauseous. Like I didn't have my lunch that day, so be careful with this. I'll blow it at Maddie instead. She's pretty dry already.
She's pretty dry. I got a head start. But if you're gonna do one of these, drain it until you think it's all gone, and then drain it for like another 5 minutes, because it'll save you half an hour of mopping up coolant later on.
Do you do reverse order at all, or just that one way? That's it.
Nah, just the one. I don't seem to get anything back out the other way.
Okay. Yeah, a little something, something. This is wetter than it was before you put the hose on.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, you just see dirt all over.
Nah, you missed a spot.
So this,
Ooh, we got a good one.
Okay, so you guys, just to let you know, this is a fire blanket. It helps in the rare case that these things do catch on fire in an unfortunate accident. This buys the passengers time. Doesn't stop the flames, doesn't change anything. Besides, if something goes wrong in here, it slowly goes through this.
So I used to take these batteries apart for a living, and these make really good camping mats. If you take one of these batteries apart, which you shouldn't, keep the mat. It's a great insulator.
Yeah, keep the mat that you didn't take it off of.
Not endorsed statement.
Dude, that took like an hour and a half.
Not even, it was less than an hour.
No, we didn't stop. After 11. No, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I think it was less than an hour.
So basically, we've stripped the entire pack, pulled out all the modules, and this is what's left after. And we got it done in about an hour's time. Once again, we're not trained professionals. Don't try this at home. Here we are. So now these are going to go into the bus. We just checked them. There was 2 bad modules. That's probably what caused this pack to fail when it was in my car. The two
A little more moist than we would like.
Yeah, there was some moistness to them. Not moisture, moistness. Well, everyone loves that word, moist. I like it. You like it. You like it though, moist?
Like the
Just a little bit of
Moist
moist.
is a good thing, if you ask me.
So yeah, the 2 front modules were a little bit wet. They had some condensation on the front.
Luckily, they are in their own chamber up here.
Correct.
So a lot of the condensation that was built up on the plastic and whatnot,
Isolated.
it made its way to the T18650s. There's a few of them that aren't looking good. So but everything underneath the car is good.
And this is a 10-year-old pack. This came out of 2014. So 10 years of heavy abuse. The Teslamino has been airborne. It's been through an accident, and who knows how many other
For a
things.
couple accidents.
That's entertaining.
They've been through a couple of incidents,
Yeah.
not accidents.
Mostly just regular charging. So the pack is very healthy. Actually, before it came out, it held a very good charge. It had well over 200 some miles in this car. So here we are. We're recycling this pack. This would have gone into a scrapyard or junkyard, who knows? But now it's going to find its life in a 1968 VW bus.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that the client will get another 10 years out of these batteries without having a single problem. But there you have it. That's how you dismantle a Tesla Model S pack. Get them out of here.
Yeah.
Put them in your RX-7 and get
We're
out.
doing lunch.
Yeah, I wish I had an RX.
Or whatever you have.
So time to load it up. When I get these to the shop, there's still a little bit of work to do. We got these BMS boards to swap out. And then it's ready to plug into our Orion BMS and power that small drive unit.
Hit this thing. See?
Well, I thought you had like a little gizmo.
I got a little button underneath it. Bubbles. Hey, I got a daughter. She doesn't drive the car yet. She likes bubbles. Let's get in as many as we can. Perfect, well, sure. Ugh. So this is called the extended range pack from Revolt Systems, but it only fits Teslaminos. Double your pack range. Cybertruck ain't got nothing on us. We are going to drop off the batteries that came out of the Teslamino to Slick Wild so we can put them in that bus build that he's putting together. So this is my wife's car. She drives this for over 100 miles, probably 150 to 200 miles round trip to her office and back, and she does that like once a week. with the 75 pack, she was barely getting home if she did that run. Like she'd come home with like 10%. Last night she came home with like 45, 50%. So there's more usable pack, obviously, and you know, who knows, the car might run more efficiently because of the higher voltage as well, but she loves it. She's like, oh my gosh, I don't have to stop and charge. Before, if she didn't leave the house with 100%, which is harder on the packs anyway, you don't want to charge them up that high, she wouldn't make it home. So she's got to go all the way to Irvine back, which is, you know, over a 150 mile trip, plus pick up kids. It's about 200 miles. 75 pack just couldn't do it. This one, no problem. And she still has a ton left over for the next day. So, two birds with one stone. Fixed the Teslamino, and we got tons more range and power out of this car, which eventually will be mine. I like fast. What do you want to eat? So we got some bad news. We're working on a Volkswagen.
Sounds like formaldehyde.
I like the blue and red. That's a really nice touch. Oh, nice job. I see what you did there. So this, for those of you that are familiar with Volkswagens, is the engines in the rear. They are not liquid cooled. They are air cooled. So what they had to do back in the day is they used the blower fan that cools the actual motor in the back to blow air over the actual cylinder heads, and they had this ducting that would run this back to the front of the car, so you'd have heat inside the car, vehicle, bus, whatever this thing is. This guy actually used these to route his cooling lines through the car. Pretty good job, man. I like that.
Thanks. Yeah, so I had the added protection of the loom, but yeah, I used these heater tubes. This one's going over to the ESS or batteries, whatever you want to call it, and this is going over to the drive unit, and then that manifolds to the small drive unit and everything. So
this thing's gonna be wild.
It's like a little twin turbo setup here. I love this.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. So what size millimeter turbo is this? It's like a 15 or 10 millimeter.
I'm still crossing over to the metric system from being an American, so.
Ah, no, you got to get with the program. Millimeters, baby.
Yeah.
Forget your fractions. There's too much math involved anyway. But no, this thing's got to have almost 300 horsepower.
I agree with that.
It's like 280, isn't it, on the small drive?
220 kilowatts, so that's about 300 horsepower.
Yeah, it's about 3. I think they said it was like 330 or something.
It's going to be...
I mean...
This thing is only
I did what I could as far as reinforcing this chassis for that kind of power, but she straight up said, like, no peel outs, no donuts, and I was like, I'll leave it to you. You go for it.
She's going to stomp on it one day and go, ooh, I got to run that guy quick.
Yeah. So, yeah, you guys caught me in the middle of doing all the chassis 12-volt designing and tying up and everything, but as far as the HV system's concerned, I just have to fill and burp the coolant on the drive unit side, and then once I have the batteries in, I can fill and burp the coolant on those.
How about your half shafts?
Half shafts, I need all the batteries in here so that I can get it at right height and measure face to face.
Yeah.
And Dutchman axles I'm going to use.
Yeah. Dude, I gotta say, man, this is impressive.
Well, it's Will. What do you expect?
I've never seen Will.
That's an insult, man.
I've never seen a build that Will has done.
Will does good work. Why do you think I keep him around?
Because the Z, I never saw under the bottom of it.
Oh, really?
Right? It, you know.
This is much
well, you
nicer.
wouldn't too, because I put an underplate on the underside of that.
This is actually much nicer than the Z. The Z was kind of, you took that and had to fix it.
Yeah. I mean, no, they took care of the heavy
build.
mounting stuff, but it was the wiring. So, I mean, this is what I love. Just this completely beefed up platform. I mean, you got double A-arm suspension in the front now, you got coilovers, upgraded the springs.
That's basically off-road stuff, yeah.
Yep.
You're going to need it. It's so much better than it was.
Yeah.
Because you did all this since I've seen this car.
Oh yeah. The old front end's still sitting over there. It's old. It's outdated. So now it's got a manual steering rack. It's got a 2-liter eye booster. Just got to tie it all into what's going on up there, and that's what you guys caught me in the middle of. Little mad scientist program here.
Yeah.
So this is rather than using the old fuses and stuff. This is going to straddle the steering column brace.
Okay.
That's my ignition and my constant and ignition.
Yeah.
Ignition relay and everything. And this is all going to go throughout the chassis. Then it's going to tie into our sweet speed hut gauges.
Ooh, that looks sweet, dude.
That's some big springs up here.
Yep.
That looks nice.
400s?
That should look pretty similar to what you guys are throwing in that 34.
I don't know. I like that.
Match
The
the
white
bus.
background. Yeah.
Well,
And it
there's a big
totally
yellow
matches the
submarine.
color scheme on the bus. Yeah.
Cool.
I like that.
Yeah. So it's going to have a key switch ignition, and then it'll complete the circuit for you to be able to press this. Otherwise, hop in, you can drive away, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Very cool build. Well done. Can't wait to go try this thing.
All right, this is our battery enclosure. This is sitting right on the belly of this thing, and having these inside of the cabin like this allowed me to throw all those other components under the belly and really utilize the space well. This only adds about 6 or 7 inches to the back, so you could chop the legs to a seat if you wanted to put a seat. But she's going to use this primarily for pets, is what she tells me. So this is going to be just one flat plane. I have it gusseted, and it's going to go straight like to the wheel wells and to that back panel right there. It's going to be one big platform. This thing is ready to go as far as throwing the batteries in. I got my manifolds here ready for us to plumb each layer as it goes in. And I have some Fechtin bus bars.
It's Felton. Well, I was corrected twice.
I have some Felton bus bars and some custom made ones to jump from module to module. And it's going to basically run like this. Lowest cell to highest cell.
Nice.
So.
Nice little loop.
Yeah, and our whole PDU, our BMS, our thermal expansion unit, all of our contactors, relays, and fuses, and current sensor are all right here.
And you're bridging up and over, or are you going all the way through and then over and all the way back, right?
Yeah, so I'm starting here, and then it goes over to that one. So I guess I said that wrong. It doesn't go like this. Basically, it goes here, and then it's going to build this way, and my final cell is going to be right.
Yeah, that's why you have a single.
Yeah.
Single line, your other end's going to be over there.
Yep.
Most positive, most negative.
Yeah.
Very clean.
Yeah. Not even going to know it's here.
Nope, it's a lot of weight. It's about 800 pounds of batteries in a bus that wasn't designed for it. But as you saw, everything's been strengthened below. The new suspension.
Well, they put like 2x4 steel beams and welded those to
I saw that.
rails. So it is buff.
Well, I'm saying your typical bus couldn't handle this, but this has been highly modified to be able to take the. That's what people don't get to when we do these builds. I've had customers call me and go, "Oh yeah, we want to do all this," and my first question is, "Well, what kind of brakes you putting on it?" "Oh, the stock brakes." No, I'm sorry.
Boom!
You're now adding 1,000 pounds to a car. Let's just say 1,000 pounds to a vehicle that wasn't designed for it. I mean, being able to stop is probably one of the most important things out there. Going fast is fun, but you got to stop at the end. So brakes are big. You got Willwoods on this thing. They look great. That's gonna stop the car. You got regenerative braking too, but just in case you still have enough brake in this car that it's designed for a higher performance vehicle, more weight, so you're good to go.
Suspension is just as much a thing about stopping power as well. So having the more bust, and this thing's not going to steer like a boat. It's not going to go like this when you brake and like this when you accelerate. It's going to be planted, low center of gravity, weights in the back above the rear wheels. Like this thing is going to be
like
awesome.
that you got this battery pack. I mean, literally dead smack in the
Best-
center of the wheel.
Best place you
Dead
can put the
smack.
battery
Nice.
pack is right in the middle of the axles.
Yeah, I mean, we toyed with throwing them up there on that back panel and stuff, and it just made the most sense to do this. You lose very little head space in here. It's way more than you get in a regular car, even as is.
Oh, the buses
So,
are tons of room.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is, people want to convert cars. They don't realize how much weight they're adding. So that becomes a big factor. Like you said, suspension, brakes, and it's a safety issue.
Yeah.
Keeping your battery packs inside the axles and low to the ground is perfect.
So I'm really glad you guys brought the batteries here. Now I can get the weight in it. I can measure for my CV axles. I can get this thing powered up and driving under its own power. And I know where the batteries have been. That's a big key part in getting batteries like that. I know that Eddie owned them, and they've been in good hands. So
What's your target completion date?
End of February to mid-March. Really depends on turnaround for the axles, and I still have a lot of cabin things to do. And I got to modify the lid on this thing. It doesn't quite fit through here. That's one thing you don't see when you're digitally mapping stuff out. So yeah, I'm going to get laying these in and see where I sit.
Cool. Killer build.